just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In tonight's bulletin, 2014 economic growth hits 5.3%. Prime Minister commends Chinese community for contribution to Fiji. And community turns up in support to pay last respects to student who died of self-inflicted injuries. Fiji's longest-running period of economic expansion has seen the economy break through the 5% barrier. According to provisional figures on gross domestic product released by the Bureau of Statistics, the economy grew by 5.3% last year. Vitika Pratap reports.
The biggest driver of growth was the transport sector, financial and insurance sector, public administration and defense, manufacturing and the education sector. However, agriculture was down 2.4% because of falling production of taro, yam and coconuts. And the mining sector recorded zero growth last year. The figures were welcomed by the Attorney General and Finance Minister Syed Kayum, who says the 5% mark was an important psychological boost. Syed Kayum says the 5.3% economic growth last year exceeds all expectations and is a remarkable achievement considering the stagnant conditions in much of the region and especially larger economies like Australia. He says it shows that Fiji is powering ahead and confidence in the country is high, largely because of the sound economic policies. Syed Kayum says Fijians can look forward to an even better performance this year with increasing stability and confidence in Fiji's future. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Fiji Television and Telecom PNG have parted ways from the proposed transaction in Media New Guinea Limited. The company was unable to secure the National Rugby League rights in Papua New Guinea. Fiji TV Executive Director Nozab Farid says the company met all other conditions.
As at today, Media New Guinea becomes back to Fiji Television. PNG media market is going through a very tough competition. There is more players. Pay TV, there are more players. Free to air, there are a lot of players. So definitely it's a very competitive market compared to Fiji.
Well, earlier this year, Fiji TV signed a sale and purchase agreement with Telecom PNG to divest its 100% stake in Media New Guinea Limited. Celebrations to commemorate the 160th anniversary of the arrival of the first Chinese settlers to Fiji were held in Suva today. Although historians argue they may have been in Fiji for more than 160 years, it's what the Chinese community has done for the country that matters. Chanel Sivan was at the celebrations and filed this report.
4 generations of members of the Chinese community gathered at the Shirley Park in Suva today as they celebrated a significant milestone in the history of their settlement in Fiji. Their contribution to the country was acknowledged and commended by Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama.
The Chinese community has enriched Fiji's culture and helped develop our economy. The relatively small size of our Fijian Chinese community bellies a large impact they've had on our development. Through your resourcefulness and diligence, the Chinese community in Fiji has produced a succession of leaders in business, in medicine, in education, and a wide range of other sectors.
The president of the Fiji Chinese Association, Jenny Situ, thanked the community for being law-abiding citizens.
We are proud of our heritage and being Fijians. History has shown that our community is hardworking, law-abiding, and have contributed immensely to Fiji's progress in the time that we have been here.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama reminded everyone to be honest and stand out in their communities and be a true Fijian.
Being Fijian is not about your ethnicity or religion. Being Fijian is not about your place of birth or social status. Being Fijian is not about your chosen trade or profession. To be Fijian is to value opportunity and justice for all. To be Fijian is to work hard, be patriotic, and help build Fiji's future.
The Chinese Association also held a soft launch of the book, The Chinese in Fiji, which incorporates stories of early settlers. The book will be available publicly in the near future. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Pacific Islands Development Forum is now an internationally recognized organization. Members of the forum adopted a new charter which gives the organization an international identity at their summit, which ended in Suva yesterday. Ali Kimbia has more.
The dawn of a new era for the Pacific Islands Development Forum. 3 years after its formation, it has now charted a way forward.
Yes, it is an important organization. It's complementary to what PIFS is doing at the moment. So, yeah, I think I'm very, very happy with the outcomes. Our ambassadors have got a much better view or understanding of what PDAF is now. So that's probably the bottom line, and to me it's a success.
Outgoing Interim Secretary General of the PIDF, Amena Yoboli, says the charter will assist the forum as well as benefit all Pacific Island countries.
For the Pacific, PIDF has provided a good platform for them to work as a group, as islands, to forge ahead in terms of their issues of priorities. Number one of which right now is climate change.
With the new charter, newly elected Secretary General Francois Martel now has the task to work with development partners to map the way forward for all Pacific Island countries. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
A 65-year-old man died when he fell off a bus in Tangitangitavua today. Police spokesperson Atunai Sokomuri says the man was boarding a bus with his grandson when it was hit from behind by a truck. The impact of the crash resulted in the victim falling off the stairs and hitting the road. The elderly man died on the scene. The truck veered off the road into the fields. The truck driver, who was the only occupant in the truck, escaped serious injuries. He is now being questioned by police. Family members, friends, teachers and classmates of one of 3 primary school students who died from self-inflicted wounds in Suva earlier this week paid their last respects to the victim. The funeral rites for Ayush Kumar were held at his home today before he was laid to rest at the Vatuanga Cemetery. Kumar died on Tuesday morning, several hours after he inflicted injuries on himself. His 2 classmates did the same and they died several days apart. Earlier reports indicated the students feared failing their internal exams. However, information from family members indicates to peer pressure. The funerals of the other 2 students are expected to be held next week after police conduct post-mortem examinations. Well, still to come on FBC News, team discusses Nadi flood control project.
Oya wawati soni dalai.
Ganga yang masih donu.
Nama dikirau mena tolu kena bitu. Ena via kabi moli dikena porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 ena sere.
Welcome back to FBC News. Sedilpa parliamentarian Mosese Mbulitavu is expected to respond to allegations levelled against the party leader Ro Temumu Kepa on Monday. Mbulitavu received a formal letter earlier this week that he is to appear before the 4-member investigating team regarding his complaint. Mbulitavu adds, other than himself, 5 other party members have been sanctioned to testify before the board in relation to the complaints lodged. Amongst issues being investigated are an audit report, as well as allegations made by Opposition Principal Administrative Officer Mick Beddoes. Now, FBC understands that the investigating team has been given until the 2nd of October to finalize their report to the party's management board. Meanwhile, a special general meeting of SADELPA scheduled to be held today has been postponed until Thursday. Party officials could not be contacted for a comment. 3 people have been treated for injuries they received in a bus accident in Suva. One of the victims is a 10-year-old boy and the other 2 are women who were on their way to attend a funeral yesterday. Julie Vatuwaliwali reports.
7 passengers and the driver are fortunate to have escaped serious injuries after their bus veered off the road. The occupants were on their way to the Nisinu cemetery for a funeral. Sunset Express manager Waisake Kadibakandua says a child on the bus was playing with a jack which was placed behind the driver.
The driver explained one of the child was sitting behind him and was playing with the jack of the bus. While still driving, the driver tried to look back and tell the child to stop playing. And whilst focusing on the child, the driver didn't know that the bus had veered off the road.
Oripa Mataitini says she was with other family members at the funeral gathering when she heard of the accident.
I was inside the shed when I heard a loud sound, like something fell, and when I got out to take a look at what had happened, that's when I saw that the bus had fell into a ditch on one side. I got scared and worried because my child was one of the 7 in the bus.
Mataitini says the driver should have been more careful.
But the driver, when he saw that my nephew was playing with a jack, I believe he should have just stopped the bus, and if he cared about my nephew, he should have told him to stop.
The accident happened a little after 10 o'clock on Maddock Road outside the Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Dalainambua. Land Transport Authority officers have inspected the bus and released it back to the company. Julie Vatuwaliwali, FBC News.
Widening the Nadi River is the answer to the flooding woes of the tourist capital. This was revealed at a meeting this week of the technical working group that is planning the Nadi River flood control structure. Madhu Boletamana with this report.
It's this Japan International Cooperation Agency funded program that has unearthed new findings. The way forward for the flood-prone district is widening the river. The past 6 months has seen JICA's expert technical team scrutinize the best way forward from 2 options on the table. The other option is to divert and dredge the river. Technical Working Group Chairman Colin Simmons says he cannot comment on the recommendation, adding that a statement is expected to be released by the government. The business community and residents have welcomed the recommendation by JICA, and the hope is that concrete steps will be taken to ensure the groundwork starts as soon as possible.
All the shopkeepers would be really happy because during the time of November to April, we always are having sleepless nights, and that's where with this move, I must say that it would be a really good idea.
My only concern now is the time frame when it's going to happen. As we know, we're going into cyclone season soon. And the biggest picture, as I said to you a little earlier, funds.
Yes, this is a great news. Flooding problems will be a thing of the past, and I can't wait to see this get underway.
The recommendations of the Technical Working Group will be presented to government, and it is anticipated that the work on the multi-million-dollar flood structure project will get underway once funding is secured. Madhu Boletamana, FBC News.
The case against the rezoning of Shirley Park by the Lautoka Ratepayers Association and the Reddy Group of companies has been defeated. Representing the plaintiffs, lawyer Aman Ravindra Singh says they're appealing the ruling handed down by the Lautoka High Court. The civil proceedings filed called for an injunction to stay the development of Shirley Park pending a revision of the rezoning application. The association and Reddy Group argue that proper procedures were not followed when their application was first put forward. Seaweed is a potential future crop for Fiji and is being recommended as an alternative livelihood for Fijians living in the maritime areas. Eleanor Turangaivu with the story.
Seaweed farming has the potential to earn millions of dollars annually.
Fiji, we are sitting on a gold mine. See, we have 410 golden goalies. but we are not utilizing that. So that's where we are coming in. That's why we want to promote the seaweed farming, because what we believe this is one of the best future crop for Fiji.
Former Fisheries Director and Manager Operations Wekong Marine Products Limited, Malakai Tuiloa, says they work in partnership with the Department of Fisheries and buy seaweed from farmers before exporting it to China.
We are buying it $1 per kg. See, the price of seaweed has increased from when it started 50 cents. Right now we have moved up to $1. Yeah. Even though it's not much, but the money is in the volume.
This dried seaweed have already been bought. This bag has 24 kg of seaweed and it's $24. Some of these bags have 33 kg and that's $33. We don't deduct any other cost like for freight. They buy it straight from here.
Seaweed farming is easy and cheap. It takes only weeks to plant before harvest and the market is readily available.
Your target is 3,000 line. That is the target of the Department of Fisheries. 3,000 line per person. And that 3,000 line, you can produce 10 ton. 10,000 kg, which is 10 ton of dried seaweed. And that's 10,000. 10,000 for the first 6 weeks. It's a 6 weeks crop.
The Chinese market wants 300 to 500 tons of dried seaweed a month. Current production stands at 40 to 50 tons a month. There are currently 249 registered seaweed farmers Fiji-wide, but only 70 are actively farming now. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
Coming up in sports, Nandronga successfully defeats Fairbrother Trophy. And Flying Fijians team to play Canada named.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट।
Welcome to FPC Sports. The Nandronga rugby side has successfully defended the HFC Bank Fairbrother Trophy. The Stallions defeated Vatukola 56-11 in the second challenge today. Here are the match highlights.
Moriwaga feeds the scrum and offloads to, and it's a loose ball. What does the referee say? And Rewa Lui pounced on it. And a try is awarded. And Randondo charges forward to Rewa Lui to Buimbao. And Buimbao to Takelos running on the embankment side. And offloads back inside to Buimbao, and Buimbao offloads in the tackle. Wonderful backhand pass there to Rewa Lui. Rewa Lui in support. Offloads to Salam Wangavuka. Wangavuka takes the ball through it before he's taken down in the tackle. Tamaya, now the captain, charging from the side of the ruck. And he passed the ball inside. Places the ball at the back, and Buimbao now with the cutout pass. And at the back is Kurukabu. Kurukabu inside ball, back inside. And Nandronga. And Wanga now again, well, it's another try to Nandronga. As Buimbao goes for the kick and is successful. So that is the final. The referee blows his whistle and it's all over here at Lawanga Park.
Nandronga will next week defend the trophy against Neta Siri. The Vodafone Flying Fijians team to face Canada in the last build-up match before the World Cup has been named. Coach John McKee has named an experienced side, and there are high chances that the same team will start against England in the World Cup opener. The match against Canada kicks off at 1:30 a.m. on Monday. Flying Fijians coach John McKee is happy with the response from players at training in England so far. The team had a slow start after reaching their destination, but have slowly found form. McKee has been closely monitoring players and has had a positive result.
Training so far has been very good. The players have responded quite well after the long journey to the UK, with recovery on the first day and quite a tough day's training yesterday with 2 field sessions, which was Thursday over here and particularly in the afternoon when we topped it off with some fitness work.
Remember, you can watch all the matches of the Rugby World Cup live on FBC TV. Former All Blacks wing Sir John Kirwan has predicted this year's Rugby World Cup will be the toughest ever. The 1987 World Cup winner is in the country and shared his views on the biggest rugby event of the year. Rohit Deo with the details.
He is one of those who has been there and won it himself. John Kirwan says, looking at the team's preparations, it is hard to point out the likely winner at this stage.
It's getting harder every time the World Cup comes around, and I think that this year will be the hardest World Cup ever. You know, obviously being from New Zealand and the All Blacks are one of the favourites, but you know, I think in World Cup anything can happen.
Kirwan says the teams from the Southern Hemisphere have a different style of playing rugby and things will change in England.
In the Northern Hemisphere there'll be a lot more scrumming, the game probably be a little bit slower, and there'll be a lot of emphasis on the breakdown, so the game will be a little bit different.
He has also commended the growth of the sport around the globe.
I just think everyone's getting better. You know, I just think every nation is working hard to get better, and every year the competition gets harder.
The World Cup kicks off on the 19th of September with the Vodafone flying Fijians taking on host England at 7 a.m. You can watch the entire tournament live right here on FBC TV. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The presence of 2 national and a former national rep boosted the Fiji Football Association's Southern Zone Under-16 tournament that was held in Suva today. Suva, Navua, Nasinu and Rewa sent teams for the tournament. Rohit Deo was at the event and filed this report.
Footballers under the age of 16 showed their skills on the field, and there was nothing but praise for their progress through the development program.
It's looking good, man. The players are progressing. Like we had a under-16 camp, and the players were selected from the BOG and Fiji Fact, and this is the future development that Fiji football has put in place.
National reps Colinio Sivuki, Tevita Waranivalu and former national rep Sevedi Roko Takala watched from the sidelines and they were pleased with what they saw.
I think the young boys are gelling well with the skill level, and tournament today, it was a great tournament for them. They've been developing well, and I think they'll be a great star when they grow up.
Suva beat Nasinu 1-0 while Navua defeated Rewa by the same scoreline. The final had to be decided on penalty kicks, which Suva took out, defeating Navua 4-2. A similar tournament is expected to be held in the Western Division in the next few weeks. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Cloudy periods with brief showers was experienced over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, whereas fine weather prevailed elsewhere. A trough of low pressure lies south of Nauru and western Kiribati. Another trough of low pressure lies over the Solomon Islands and Vanuatu. Maximum temperatures ranged from 26 to 31 degrees today. Savu was on the lower end at 26, Suva at 27, while Ba and Lambasa recorded 31 degrees. Occasional showers are expected over most places tomorrow. For Monday's outlook, expect some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers. Before we go, here are the main points again. Provisional figures on gross domestic product released by the Bureau of Statistics indicate the economy grew by 5.3% last year. Fiji Television Limited and Telecom PNG have parted ways after they failed to secure an agreement on the sale of Papua New Guinea-based EMTV. And a 65-year-old man died when he fell off a bus in Tangitangi, Tabua today. On to our poll segment. This week we ask, can the Flying Fijians reach the quarterfinals at the Rugby World Cup? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.